Hello, 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 people. I want to talk about something really quickly. And it's about what is tolerated. When you see a community that is complicit in a certain behavior, not all does not count. It does not matter if not all people or not all men or whatever are involved, or if not all men are like that. When they hear a man talk a certain way and they are not willing to remove this man from the community, then I don't care about not all. I'm talking about Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb, I've seen a couple of people make videos on this because I don't watch his show, but a couple of people made videos on Corey Holcomb kind of sounding like he might have been a pedo. You know what a pedo is, right? A PDF. That he asked this question, right? And he was asking this to his host, his lady host. And the way his lady host answers him is like, yeah, I think you will. Yeah, like she's kind of being smart. Like, you're being weird. You're being weird, you know. But she doesn't like distance herself from him. I guess she gets a paycheck. When people get into the point where they sound like they are a pedo, you might want to get away from them. Okay? Corey Holcomb asked this question about, can you get arrested for spooning? Is spooning illegal, or can you get arrested for spooning? She didn't know what spooning was, and I didn't know what spooning was either. I heard that before, but I never paid enough attention to it. Even if I knew what it meant before, I haven't heard that word in so long that I forgot what it was, okay? So she said, what is spooning? And he said it's when a child is naked, everything, booty out and everything, and you come up behind a child and you hug them. Is that illegal? Why would a question like that even come up in his mind? And you have a bunch of men that just sit around is like, oh, okay. Some men think it's weird and some men go along with it. Why isn't this man canceled yet? Corey Holcomb should have been canceled when they saw that he hit that woman. He should have been canceled then. Okay, I get that he wasn't getting his bookings like usual, so a lot of companies didn't want to book him for shows, okay, because of that right there. But now he's going live, he's going viral about, it looked like he's talking about how the legal age of consent in Iceland is like 13. But over the United States of America is 18, but in Iceland it's 13. And he talked about how little girls at 14, 15, and 16, they are at their peak. I mean, they are just sitting back listening to him talk like this. You have too many men and too many women that are sitting back and allowing him to talk like that, and just listening to him, and they still support him. Like, he should not have any more shows. Okay, granted, he can't go to jail, he can't get arrested. You haven't caught him doing anything to a child, right? You haven't caught him messing with an underage girl. You haven't caught him really physically spooning a child, holding a child while he's naked. But why would that come up in his brain? And then he said something else about a little girl who was drinking some Welch's juice and talking about how she put that whole bottle in her mouth. Talk about how she's a freak because it's a little girl was drinking some Welch's juice and she put the whole bottle in her mouth, and the way she put that bottle in her mouth, he could tell that she was a freak. A little girl, probably not even 10 years old, probably not even 8 years or 7 years old. He's calling her a freak because of the way she put a Welch's bottle in her mouth. And then he also talked about how you can tell the girl is a freak. This girl was a freak because this was a little baby. She kept crying and kept crying. And the daddy picked her up and put her on his lap. And you know how you put some baby on your lap and you like move your legs up and down like you're just like shaking them, and not shaking them, but you know what I mean? You kind of like rocking them, or whatever you call it. You put the baby on your lap and then you rock them and stuff like that with your legs, you know. And so I guess the father or whoever, the man, put the little girl, the baby, on his lap and was rocking her, you know, with his legs and stuff. And she calmed down. And Corey Holcomb like, that's a freak right there. You can tell that's a freak right there. She cried, and as soon as she got on his lap, she went straight to sleep. She calmed down. She a freak. This is what he's saying about a baby. Okay, a baby that probably still uses a pacifier. A little baby that's probably not even a year old. This is what he's talking about, a baby. You have grown men and grown women who sit back and listen to that, and they don't see that he need to be counseled. They don't see that he needs to be counseled. But then people want to keep talking about how not all. I don't care about not all. And I feel like at this point, the black community is just no good. You cannot hear, let me tell you something. You wouldn't be able to hear Joe Rogan and Alex Jones publicly say those things on a platform that they have. You would not be able to have Alex Jones say the exact same things that Corey Holcomb said on his platform and think that he won't be counseled by white women or the white community, even though a lot of men might think the way Corey Holcomb did. Corey Holcomb is probably saying a lot of things that men are thinking. The fact that Corey Holcomb was so free to say that like that means that a lot of men are like that. I don't care about not all, because the problem with the men that's not all, they don't do nothing. They don't do anything. They don't get anything done. I don't care about not all. They don't get anything done. This man, he needs to be canceled. Period, point blank, he needs to be canceled. And he's not. Okay? So anyway, because if you wouldn't cancel him, and then people talk about, oh, you're trying to keep a good black man down. But you couldn't have a woman that have if a black woman was to have a large platform the way Corey Holcomb does, if a black woman was to have a large platform like that, and she get on her platform and she started talking about spooning and talking about the stuff that he was saying, and she would say that about a boy or even a little girl, everybody would have went in on her. She would have been done. She would have been done. Listen, she would have been canceled. If she would have said that publicly, she would have been canceled. If white men with a big platform like that would have said something like that publicly, they would be canceled. But it's all right for these black men to do it in the black neighborhood, and nobody checks them for it. Nobody checks it. And the fact that Corey Holcomb was so comfortable saying that means that a lot of men, specifically in the black community, but a lot of men, period, think like that. There's a lot of men that think like that. Okay? What does that mean? We got a problem with men. I don't care about not all men. Well, you can't just put all men in the same category. No, it's too many. The fact that he was comfortable with saying that means that it's too many. It's too many to say not all, because the ones that are not like that, they're not even paying any attention. As long as you're not touching their children, it's fine. But you never know if your child might get touched. You never know what might happen to your child. So there's just a problem, you know. But anyway, I just felt like talking about that really quickly, of the stuff that people tolerate. The black community has just been notorious for allowing some very bad things to spread. Okay? They let the whole gangbanging stuff, gangbangers kill each other, people shoot each other in the street, black men shoot each other in the street, and then they get on that no snitching rule and stuff, and you know, and they let that spread and get out of control. Okay? And just other stuff. The black community just have a bad habit of tolerating too much foolishness. They really have had a bad habit of allowing some of the most filth into the community to just take over. Okay? So anyway, I just feel like talking about that really quickly. Well, like how not all does not matter when it's too many. Okay? You know, it's like when you have a bag full of apples, and you open that bag and you see you have 1 or 2 rotten apples, you know to take those 1 or 2 rotten apples out and throw it away to preserve the ones that are good. If for some reason the community doesn't see a need in getting rid of the bad apples in order to preserve the ones that's good, if you keep messing around and you don't get rid of those bad apples, you're going to mess around and contaminate everybody, everything. Okay? And so, because people, they don't see a need to get rid of this man, and now he's freely, after he just went viral, TMZ just made showed a viral video of him hitting a woman, and people made a few videos about that, and he couldn't book shows, okay, but that's only going to last for so long. They're not going to cancel him. And now this stuff is going on around about him talking about someone like he's a PDF, a pedo, and nothing is done about that, okay? Nothing is really done about that, okay? But anyway, that's it, and I will talk later.